guys had the comeback win against Washington. You've had some other games this year where you've tied or trailed in the third and got points out of the game. I guess kind of a two-parter. Why do you think you've been able to come back? And as a coach, what's the value of having comeback wins? Is there a seed or some positive energy it creates?
I think you build confidence in your group, but more than anything, I think we got a group that we have the mentality we want to stay with it. Like our game doesn't change. There's subtle things a coach can do to, whether it be matchups or certain players on the ice at a certain time, or maybe you juggle a couple lines to tweak things or whatever. But for the most part, our players have been pretty good. Just like, stay the course here. Let's stay the course. Especially where games like the other night, we thought we were playing all right, and down 3-1, we just, after the second period, we just talked about, like, let's get the next one and see where it goes. And we were opportunistic in that. I mean, we made a good play on our own end. Cass made a good play to spring Leon and Connor, and we got it to 3-2, and then we got some momentum.
So in teams, just in your coaching career, whether it's been NHL or wherever, even as a player, are good teams more comfortable when things aren't going well? You know what I mean? Like, it seems to contradict itself, but...
Good teams have confidence in themselves, right? Good teams, I always talk about confidence is earned, so good teams have the confidence that they can come back, but it's more about how you're playing. If you feel like you're playing a decent game, you're not just holding on, then you feel like you can come back. Like, I go back to the Philly game, we felt like we were up 6-1 or 6-2, and we weren't playing very well. You're just hanging on. But the other night, we're real competitive in the game. We just wanted to stay with the game, and we got some big plays to get us back in the game, and a real big play to win the game. So it's every game is different a little bit, but a game like that what it does, it helps reinforce that the things we're doing can make us successful as a group, and we just got to stay at it.
Opportunity knocks with Archibald's injury. Yurcho had some good moments in the preseason, a little quiet at times, but a little creative once in a while as well. Sort of a different player than some of your other guys that have played in those third and fourth lines. What does he need to do to maybe get a little bit more consistent playing time for you?
Well, I think you're right. He does bring a skill factor that we need there. On that third line with Gags and him there, that they have the ability to bring some skill, whether it's a second power play unit or just skill into the 5-on-5 game. So he, like you say, he had a good training camp. He made some good plays. He made some plays that really stood out to you, that he earned the right to start the season. But his game has gone a little quiet, and now hopefully. When he sat out a game, he'll come back. I know he's anxious to get back in there. Hopefully he can take advantage of the opportunity, like you say. It's when you have injuries, it's opportunities for other guys, and they jump in, and it's what they do with it that really matters. So he's going to get that opportunity tomorrow.
Did Archibald, it was the injury from blocking that shot in Winnipeg, but it wasn't, he didn't take an x-ray when he was on the road. He just kept saying he could play.
If you asked him, he still wouldn't have took an x-ray, but he's a tough kid. Like, there's not many. He played 2 games on that thing, and I think deep down, I've kind of been in that situation. If it's broken or not, but that's old school where you don't tell any. Well, you just don't let it bother you. But once he got it here and they got it X-rayed, it was a fracture that he has to spend some time away. So he was still bugging me this morning and said, "I'm good to go," but that's who he is.
And was last game that Chason played more like what you'd like to see from Chason?
It wasn't just Chason. One of the things last game that I thought, and I told our group this morning, I thought our forecheck was as good as it's been any game, and there was a relentless aspect to it, and I thought Cass was like that. I thought Chason was like that. Like, they're big body guys that are playing hard in the offensive zone, with getting to the net, creating loose pucks. I mean, so that. Our whole group at Chase was a good example of that, like the urgency to get things done, and that's we'd like to see that from all our players all the time.
Okay, and Mike Smith was off first. Is he playing tomorrow?
We're going to talk to Schwartzy today, but we're getting into our first back-to-back this week, so we're going we'll arrange it accordingly.
Dave, you guys welcome the Florida Panthers tomorrow. They got some dynamic offensive players, but Alex Chason said that Sasha Barkov is so similar to Leon Draisaitl. Do you share that testament as well?
Yeah, I mean he's a heck of a player. I mean he's one of those guys you don't get to see him, or seems like you don't watch him enough, but when you watch him on tape, he jumps out at you. So he's a really good player, dominant player in this league.
And how do you guys plan on counteracting the firepower that they have up front?
We're going to worry about ourselves tomorrow. We've got things in our game that we want to continue to do well, and we've got things that we can improve. So I know they'll be prepared very well. I know Joel very well, and his teams will come in here. They'll be prepared. So it'll be a tough game, but another good test for us.
Dave, Yoel Pearson's been skating for a couple days now. Any update on his status?
Yeah, he's getting closer. He probably needs a few more practices. He's not a player tomorrow, but he's getting back up to full speed as we speak. So I'm not sure where he is on the concussion protocol, but he's back out there and going, and not far away, but not ready for tomorrow.